Thank you, Eileen, and thank you, Melissa, for having us. We're very excited to be here. I'm Andrew Gross. This is Gil Talmy. Together and independently, we've scored over 30 features, independent and studio features, 40 docs. Gil's done a ton of documentary films, over 100 episodes of episodic television. And some of Gil's recent credits are, in addition to being an Emmy-nominated composer, he scored Entre Nos, which is being featured October 3rd as a case study at the New School. And he also scored Between the Folds, which was a Peabody Award-winning film. He's currently scoring a narrative feature called Savannah, starring Jim Caviezel and Sam Shepard. I've scored a lot of features. Some of my recent features, well, not so recent, actually. I've scored Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny. It was a film starring Jack Black that I think 5 or 6 people saw in theaters before it went straight. You saw it? That was one. Thank you. That was one of the 5 who saw it before it went straight to video. A film called 8 Heads in a Duffel Bag, and I did a TV show called King of Queens for a bunch of years. And together, we are Consonant. And Consonant started, I guess the germination of it was when I met Gil one evening when he came over to our house. A mutual friend brought him. He thought we'd get along, and Gil brought a 3-cheese lasagna.
4-cheese lasagna.
4 cheese?
4-cheese lasagna.
I only tasted 3.
4 cheese.
Okay. Gil brought a lasagna over, and we became fast friends. We loved each other's music, and it wasn't until about 7 years after that where we decided to put our music together and form Consonant as a way for independent filmmakers and filmmaker friends to search and listen through all our music for their films. Consonant is now has over 2,000 tracks on a website. We'll show you all that later. And it features music from artists around the world, not just the 2 of us, fantastic music from around the world. So the reason why we're here tonight is really to demystify the whole process of putting music to film, how to get great music in your film. Music, as you know, can be a really powerful storytelling device. I'm sure you all have scores that once you hear, it just brings back the memory of that film and makes you fall in love with that film all over again.
There's no right or wrong way to score a film. I mean, there are many, many wrong ways to score a film. But there's no perfect way to score a film, you know? I mean, when we think of Star Wars now or Jaws, today we think of Jaws as, you know, the film that has that motive in the strings for the sharks, and it's perfect for that. It's perfect for that film because we've heard it a million times. It could have been something different when it was written, and then today we think it's perfect. And it's very important to keep that in mind as you're starting to work on your film, is that there is no perfect way to score a film. There are many great ways to score a film, but sometimes the idea of perfection can lock us into an idea before we even get started that prevents us from actually creating something original and unique and new because we already think that this is the way to do it. For you filmmakers, you've temped up scores. Temp Score is a temporary score. So as you're editing your score, you start editing to music that you place in temporarily to give the film, you know, the feeling of what you're going for, you know, and it's a great way to basically give the film your sonic vision. Even before you start working with a composer or music supervisor or anyone else, you start putting temporary music in it. So we want to talk a little bit about Temp Score. Since there's no perfect way, basically you have the whole world of music at your disposal. And especially today in the world of iTunes, I mean, you can download anything and put it to picture and play around with it. The different ways you can get music that is legal to put in your film are either score, which is anything originally written by a composer for a film. So you can temp up your film using, if you have a pre-existing relationship with a composer, you can ask the composer to start scoring to picture even before the picture is ready for that process, before it's locked. You can use music from a catalog, or library, which is, for instance, Consonant, but there are many, many other big libraries out there that have pre-existing music that you can use, or you can use songs, you know, like a song called Yesterday by the Beatles, if you can afford it, which is sometimes not the case. Now you've temped up, you've been editing your film and you've created a temp score, and now it's time, you're in post-production, and it's time for you to actually make a choice on how you're going to finish the music for your film. And so there are a few different ways to approach this. One is a composer, a human being who writes original music. Music supervisor. Music supervisors don't write original music, but they have a vast amount of knowledge about the entire world of music. And they are knowledgeable in music, and they can look at a scene and recommend, you know, basically recommend, I think this would work really well here. Or they also have a lot of contacts of, you know, they know bands, and they can say, you know, if this is your budget, you know, I know this band, it's just coming up, and this is maybe a good opportunity for both of you. They also deal with the clearance aspect of the legalities of licensing a song. So very good person to have on hand. Oftentimes for the lower budget indie films, there's not really a budget to have a music supervisor. But you know, if you can, that's a great thing. Music clearance is again, to take songs by pre-existing songs, Madonna, Coldplay, etc., and get it cleared somehow. Even if you don't have a music supervisor, it's something you can do yourself. You can educate yourself, or you can, you know, work with a company like ourselves, Consonant, to help you clear it. There are people who do that. Music catalogs, we talked about that. So companies that have a large pre-existing catalog of music that you can have access to and place in your film. Now, music editors are editors that edit music. So let's say you've been temping up your film with a lot of music, but you're not necessarily knowledgeable in how to make music fit and sound together. So music editor is someone who knows how to take music and really edit it in a beautiful, you know, the fade in, fade out, or if you're taking a piece of music and you need to snip the middle out and make it, you know, be longer or shorter, that's something that they do.
Is anybody familiar with the 2 rights that you need for any piece of music that you want to license to your project? Yeah, master, you need 2 rights. Do you know what the master rights are? I'll tell you. So the 2 rights are master rights and sync rights, also known as publishing rights. The master rights refer to the use of the recording of a song or a piece of music. So it's literally that recording, somebody's version of something, or an artist's original version of it. Whereas the sync rights refer to the intellectual property that is the song, the part that the songwriter wrote, the lyrics, the music of the song. That's the part of the music that you can write on a piece of paper and copyright. So those are the 2 rights. So when somebody wants to license, say, a Beatles song, we'll say, for example, they need to go to the master rights holder, which would be, I think, Capitol Records owns the master rights. And then if they want to get the publishing, well, Michael Jackson bought those years ago out from under the Beatles, and then he sold half of his share to Sony, so somebody has to go to Sony and maybe Michael Jackson's estate to negotiate those rights, and then they can use the entire song. Oftentimes you'll hear covers of songs, like you'll hear in a movie like, oh, that's not the original, that's somebody else doing it. Well, sometimes, or often many times, that's done to keep costs down because it's so expensive to just get the sync rights for that song. It's much easier, it's much cheaper for them to go to another band or artist and say, hey, can you record this song for me, this version of it? And it helps keep costs down. This is the way our website looks, and you've got many easy ways to search for music and listen to music. And as a user, when we grant you user status, you can even download it by pressing on the MP3 or AIF button, which will immediately download it, and you can throw that music right into your project and see how it's working. When I say you get a gratis license, you still need to, and yeah, there's an example of some of the music. You have many different ways to search.
Let's give some examples.
Yeah, fine. What are you going to look for?
All right.
What do you want to hear?
Happy.
Okay. Happy music. Okay, you can type in anything. You can type in the name of a composer. You can type in happy. You can type in happy fast, and it would only play you. It would only show you search results for fast music that we've coded as happy. But what I want to say is, if you do want to use any of our music, just give us an email so we can actually issue you a license. It's not enough for us to just say we're giving it to you. When you finish your film, you're going to need to show that you have the rights to all the music, and so we need to issue that gratis festival license for your music. I also want to encourage you guys to use us as a resource. If you have questions, shoot us an email, give us a call. We're really here to help and give you as accurate information as possible.
I want to talk a little bit about some of our other socially conscious outreach.
But not with that music.
Not with that music, no. So we have our Sounding Together initiative. It's part of our Robin Hood approach to music making. One of them is to give gratis festival licenses. Another thing we started doing is these film music seminars to educate filmmakers and hopefully save them from a lot of nightmares because these things happen. And the third thing we've been doing is our once a year, we allow filmmakers to submit their films to be considered for free music, not just for gratis festival licenses, but just free music for the film, all rights in perpetuity throughout the universe. And you can read more about that on our blog. It's WordPress, Consonant Music. You can also follow us on Facebook, Consonant Music, or Twitter, just Consonant. But this year we gave out 5 prizes. The first prize, we also are giving free original music, so we're going to score the film. The second prize is also getting free music editing and music searches, so we'll help do the music searches and music edit. And the other 3 films are just getting free music for their feature-length films. We're going to do this once a year, so that's another thing to keep in mind. It's another resource for filmmakers. And actually one of the films is Paula Mendoza, the director of Entre Nos. Her latest film, La Toma, we were able to give her music for that, which just feels great to be able to do that. So find us on Facebook, like us.
Gil, I wanted to show that we also I didn't explain about playlists.
Yeah. The other thing is, come up to Lily. And Lily, thank you for the excellent timekeeping. Since we've condensed it down from 3 hours to 2 hours, Lily has been going 2 minutes, 1 minute. So that was very good. Yeah, do you want to
I just wanted to point out one thing. You do have an ability to make playlists on here. So if you have multiple projects, you can easily make a playlist, add a bunch of tracks to it. You can share this playlist with another Consonant user, maybe your editor, and that's a way that you can quickly send tracks and files and keep track of tracks you like. Kind of bookmarking them. You can make tons of playlists. I have more playlists, than anybody. But
and one of the benefits of sharing, let's say you're on a project. There's you, there's your editor, there's another producer, and they all are users of Consonant. You can create a playlist and say, hey, for this scene, I found this music. What do you think? And if you share the playlist, this shows up in their Consonant inbox. So it's different from sending out large files to each other. It's basically you just share the playlist and it shows up on their end and they can download it. So it makes your process, a lot faster.
We'll close with one of our artists.
Any questions about the website, about tonight, about everything you've learned?